Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel 21 Hunting and Fishing. I hope everyone's having a great Easter and enjoying their weekend. It's a great weekend here. So, pretty big update, limit style BFT fishing, and I couldn't help but dive into the data and wondering if we helped predict this pretty epic bite that seemed to turn on over the past couple of days. First, in case you don't believe me, here's some photos from Pacific Queen's Instagram and as well as the Polaris Supreme. They both had 3-day limits basically, and it was pretty good fishing. A few other boats had a little bit more of a plunker bite, but also some pretty big models mixed in. So this guy super happy. He's got his big tuna. It looks like he caught it on some sort of knife jig right there. Super cool. Can't tell if he's using a bite leader or not. I don't think so. Can't tell. Look at these guys. So this is the model that we got into when I was on the Pacific Queen 2 years ago. Basically this week, my father-in-law and I went on the Pacific Queen. It was right around mid April when we went, and it was limit style fishing. We had 3 days limits within the second night. And this is such a fun model to catch. Um, I know everyone wants the super big ones, but I think it's super fun to be getting on these like 20, 30, sometimes 40, 50 pound models. And it's just a lot more action. You get them in the boat, go back, catch another one. Super fun. And then here's something the Polaris Supreme put on their Instagram a couple days, I think, before they actually got into it. Yeah, so this is our first trip of the season departs Friday, March 21st, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, so this is a little bit older. So they were seeing signs of bluefin here for the past couple, 3 weeks. I think they got some to go, but last night, or at least this weekend, or whatever you want to call it, is when they really started to get into it. So a few more trips. So the Tomahawk, we went on. I've been on the Tomahawk, super fun boat. They got into it a little bit. You can see they also found the yellowtails, super fun. I love catching those as well. And then here's another guy, super happy. He got his BFT, almost 200 pounds jig biter. So yeah, I think they're still all biting at night. I think I heard a couple being caught during the day, which is exactly what happened when I was on the boat 2 years ago. This time frame, it was almost exclusively a night bite. We got one to go on a troll, though I don't know if it was an actual tuna because it never showed its face. I think it broke off or popped off or whatever. And then that familiar look of bloody decks, super fun. Look how beautiful these fish are. They're so shiny. They have a color and a shine to them that you just can't duplicate. It's pretty amazing. All right, so now we need to get into the data. You saw the pictures. I'm sure you're excited. So here's the 2025 bluefin tuna bite start. The Pacific Queen and the Polaris Supreme had limit style fishing on 3-day trips. The Tribute and the Tomahawk a little bit less in numbers, but the sizes that showed up were pretty good. I couldn't figure out quite the anglers that were on those boats. Trying to put this out kind of quickly, and so if someone knows, you can comment below or what have you. But the point is, I'm just trying to show that the bluefin tuna started biting in triple digit numbers on the 3-day trips. Pretty cool. So the whole thesis or project or what have you revolves around the moon and the moon illumination. If you haven't seen parts 1, 2, and 3, you definitely need to go back and watch those. I probably should have started with that because the next slide you see is the summation of those parts and how I got my data and what I'm doing with my data, et cetera, et cetera. This all might make a little bit more sense. So go back and watch those. I'll try to link them in the description, and you'll see how we are coming up with this. Are these BFTs biting? When are they biting through the moon cycle? And if you did look at the parts 1, 2, and 3, you would know that I came up with essentially this timeline. So we have the new moon up here, and then we have, spikes in action as indicated by my handy dandy little BFT. So these are days before the new moon, days after the new, days before the full, right? So you see like this uptick in the 4 to 6 days before, and then nothing on the full or new moon, but then you get this uptick a couple days after the new moon. I'm sorry, the full moon. And then this is what's really interesting. You ready? Bam. So our 2025 BFT bite start falls into this bucket about the 8 days after the full moon. And you saw the percent illumination. And I also said in my other episodes that this isn't an exact science and to really up your chances of coming home with fresh bluefin tuna, you're going to want to get on a 2.5, 3 day boat that around these time periods, because one night can be nothing and then the next night can be all, wide open. It's just the way BFT act. So here's the 2025 BFT start falls into this bucket. This bucket's really stacking up. And so remember, these are 3-day trips. So those BFTs were caught somewhere around that 5, 6, 7 day mark after the full. I'm just going off of the date of the report. And so because we can't tell of the 100 plus tuna that the Pacific Queen, caught, which ones were caught on what nights. Now we know yesterday, Saturday morning, they were reporting they had 44 BFT on deck, and so those fish were caught, that Friday into Saturday morning. And so here's Sunday, Saturday, Friday. So those fish were caught somewhere around here. But again, just keeping the way that we're doing this consistent, we're going off of the date of the report. And remember, the best time to go fishing is when you can go. I started this off as a fun project, and it's actually consumed a lot of my time at this point. And then, once I heard the BFT were biting, I couldn't help but get a little bit curious to see how that fell into our probability model here that we're building. So it looks like the BFTs are here for the year. Hopefully, we'll see. And that's it. That's all. I just want to do a quick update. It does seem like the bite started in sync or in cycle or somehow aligned with the data that I've been looking at and I've been presenting. Again, if you haven't seen parts 1, 2, and 3, this gets a bit nerdy, but it's also kind of fun, I think. And remember, kill something, drag it back to the cave, and eat it. See ya.